It's like a spaceship kitchen.
So, there we go. Doctor Who Season 10 has launched. And I thought I'd do a little quick review of the opening episode. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to do this every week. Might just be a one-off, or I might do one at the end and wrap up the whole series. I haven't decided yet, but I might do some more throughout the season. I'm just not making any promises. Okay? No promises. But I might do. Some more. At some point. Honestly, I think it depends how tired I am, because last night I was going to do this immediately afterwards. But first of all, I had to put my daughter to bed, because it clashed with her bedtime. So I kept her up a bit later so that I could watch Doctor Who, because, you know, priorities. And and then I had to put her to bed. And after that, I'd been up since 4:30 in the morning yesterday and for work. And I didn't feel like doing that, because you would have just ended up with a review which was kind of like, yeah, Doctor Who was oh, what's the word? Yeah, it was good, yeah. So I really didn't want to do that. I would have looked very tired, probably bags under my eyes. It wouldn't have been good. Would not have been good. So I thought I'd wait till the morning after. Much better. So what did I think? Well, overall, I was very happy with it. Now look, I'm not a massive Stephen Moffat hater or a Clara hater or any of those things. I've quite enjoyed most of the last couple of years, but I do acknowledge there's been some major flaws and some major missteps in the last couple of seasons. But not enough to make me hate them. However, this was a nice, refreshing, energetic way to introduce, and I think it achieved its goal. Stephen Moffat said, and it's one of the reasons he called it the pilot, this episode, was that he wanted it to be a stepping on point that somebody could just come to, having not seen Doctor Who before, get all the basic information they needed without being bogged down by loads of continuity. And I think it achieved that really well. And I think it did that by showing us the episode through Bill's eyes. Bill, the new companion, who I thought was absolutely brilliant, and I'll get to her in a minute. But the fact that the episode was all through her eyes, which is something we haven't really seen since Rose, really. We haven't really been introduced to Doctor Who through a companion's eyes since Rose, which is 12 years ago. So I think it's a good way of introducing new viewers. And I mean, as many people have said, it's a little bit strange to introduce everyone fresh to Doctor Who now when Stephen Moffat is leaving, and next year probably Chris Chibnall will do something similar. But I think after the whole very intense couple of years that we've had with arcs and stuff and Clara stuff, and which I enjoyed, but I can see how it might be a bit daunting to new viewers. It's quite nice to get that, I think. So that worked really well. Bill herself, I really like. She's something different. We haven't really had someone like her before, in the sense of her very, I mean, Donna was very much asking questions, but in a much more annoying way. But she's very inquisitive in a kind of, not in a, oh, don't get it type Donna way, but in a, I really want to find out more about this. I want to learn. I want to, oh, what's this? Oh, how does this work type way. And she's in awe of the Doctor, which is quite nice to have again, I think. But it's done in a slightly different way to Rose was. Rose was sort of infatuated in many ways in a romantic way, which we're obviously not going to get with Bill because she's gay, so she's not going to fancy the Doctor, which makes another nice refreshing change. Not that I'm against anyone fancying the Doctor, but we've had a lot of that. You know, Rose fell in love with him. Martha had a crush on him. Amy tried to seduce him on her wedding night, and Clara, when it was the Matt Smith version of the Doctor, there was quite a lot of flirting going on there. She made comments about his bum looking nice. So there's been pretty much the only companion we've had that hasn't had some kind of romantic thing with the Doctor up until now has been Donna. So it's quite nice to get that again, that we know for a fact we're not going to get that this time. It's a nice to have a change and a bit of a different aspect to a companion that will lead to different stories. Because it's fine having the odd companion that's romantically infatuated with the Doctor. It's even okay for the occasional time for the Doctor to reciprocate those feelings, as with David Tennant's Doctor and Rose. But you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to do it too much. Change is good. And Bill fits that quite nicely. They hinted at some backstory to Bill. There's always got to be some kind of mystery of Stephen Moffat. And there was that one moment where there was a photo. She got photos of her mum and she spotted in a reflection in a mirror, the person taking a photo of her mum was the Doctor. So what's going on there? Well, I'm guessing we'll find out as the season progresses. But it's intriguing and I'm interested. I'd like to see more. I'm hoping it's not a kind of like she's the most important person in the world type thing again. I'm hoping it's just that in one of their adventures they go back so she can meet her mum and we see the Doctor take that photo. What about Nardole? Because Nardole is a very divisive character. A lot of people were really against the idea of him being in this series, and I was optimistic about it, because although I didn't like him at all in The Husbands of River Song, I really liked what they did with him in The Return of Dr. Mysterio. I thought he was used very well in that to provide the odd moments of comic relief while not being there constantly as a constant by-your-side companion and getting a bit annoying. So I think that worked really well in the dynamic between the Doctor and him in The Return of Dr. Mysterio, and they seem to be doing that again here. And what I really like about it is it frees up the Doctor to not be silly, because let's face it, in season 9 he got a bit silly with the shades and the electric guitar. Yes, I know he still has the electric guitar, but it wasn't overplayed. He wasn't storming in playing it on a tank. So, you know, he got very silly in that last season. So I'm quite glad that you got Nardole to be the occasional silly one, doing the one-liners and things.
Oh, human alert. Do you want me to repel her?
And you got a much more serious Doctor in this, but not mean. Hadn't completely reverted to his Series 8 persona, which I like, because you got that character development. So he has changed, but the silliness, and I can forgive the silliness a little bit by treating it as a bit of a midlife crisis when he got the confession dial. Threw him into a panic, had a bit of a midlife crisis, he's over it now, and he's gonna be, you know, serious man again. I like that, and I think that's what Peter Capaldi does best, rather than the wacky crazy stuff. So I'm really glad we've got that. I really like the fact that it was implied the Doctor had been teaching at the university for quite a while, decades even. I think 60 or 70 years was mentioned that he's been teaching there. So him and Nardole have been there a while, since the end of the last Christmas special, I guess. And who knows what they did in between that. Plenty of gaps there for novels and Big Finish to fit in. I like it. And I like that setup for the Ark, presumably, the vault that is in the basement of the university. What's behind it? I've got a theory. My theory is, my first impression, I haven't checked this out by comparing pictures yet, so I might be completely wrong, but the vault doors, to me, looked very similar to the inside doors of the 8th Doctor's TARDIS from the TV movie. Now, I may be completely wrong there, I haven't compared pictures yet, but that was just my first impression of it. That was my first thought, and it looked like it maybe had Gallifreyan symbols on it, so something Gallifreyan. I think maybe the Time Lords have tasked him with looking after this vault. And inside that vault, I think, is John Sims' master. But I don't think he knows that's what's in there yet. So that will be exciting to see. Talking of we'll come back to John Sims' master. Other things I liked. Okay, so the bad guy in this episode, I think that was... I've got mixed feelings in this. There are some aspects of it I like, some aspects of it I don't. I thought the character of, I can't remember her name. Was it Hannah? Was it Hannah? I can't remember her name. But the character that got taken over by the puddle, I think she wasn't developed enough. I didn't think we saw very much of her, and I think her aloofness, because that's all we got, meant that we weren't really invested in her as a character enough to care that she met her demise in the puddle. Also, the whole star in her eye thing, I think, was a bit wasted. It generally was just a genetic defect, and there wasn't much to it. It kind of served as a Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex Machina even, Deus Ex Machina as, you know, why she could see something in the puddle that others couldn't easily, but that was kind of it, and I thought there would be more to it than that. Maybe she's going to return somehow, and there will be more to that. But it kind of just served as as a cheap plot device for her to see into the puddle and see what other people couldn't, and also to know that the Dalek wasn't a Dalek later on. What I did like about her, was that she wasn't a creation of the Daleks. That's what I was really worried about from the trailer, because I thought, okay, she's saying exterminate.
Exterminate.
She's some kind of new version of Daleks. Daleks have created human versions of themselves, like the ones with the eye stalk that comes out of heads before, and as people are slowly turn people into Daleks, and I thought that's been overdone. They did something kind of similar in the classic series as well, and I just thought, I don't want to see another version of humanoid Dalek. That's been done to death. Let's not do that again. So I was really worried that was going to happen, and it didn't. They just happened to go to where the Daleks were having a war. So that was good. I didn't mind that. And I'm not sure how I feel about the whole jumping into the Dalek war with the... I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. Is it Movelians? Is that it, with the Movelians? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, that's fine. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because they were built up, the Movelians were returning. You know, they teased it, and... I don't know, were they wasted? Are they going to appear in another... If they appear later on in the season, that's fine. But I think they were a bit wasted just to appear in the background running down some corridors. If that was all it was, I would have liked to have seen more of them. But if they turn up in a later Dalek episode, that's fine. But I really did like the fact that the Daleks were just a background thing to this. They weren't the main baddies of the episode. They were just the Dalek. The Doctor hopped into the middle of where he knew they would be deliberately, just to test the creature and to see if the Daleks could kill them for him or disable her for him. So I quite like that, because the Daleks are overused a bit as main bad guys, and it loses their impact. But when they show up in cameos like this, it doesn't lose any impact, and I quite like that. A couple of other things I really liked. I liked the fact that Clara's theme played right near the end as Bill is about to be mind wiped by the Doctor, so she doesn't remember anything, and she goes, well, how would you feel if somebody did this to you? Which of course it has. He can't really remember Clara properly. He knows that Clara existed, but he can't picture her. He knows that their adventures happened, but he can't picture her face, can't remember any details about her. He just knows that there's this missing gap in his memory. So I like the fact that they emphasise that subtly with the Clara's theme just playing underneath. And that is why he decided in the end to let her keep her memories of what had happened over the last day. Shout out to the reappearance of the psychic paper. Haven't seen that in a while. Quite like that. It was nice and just quickly done. Mind blink and you miss it. But that was good. I like the line about TARDIS not making sense in any other language other than English. The acronym doesn't make sense unless it's in English. So why would Gallifreyans create this acronym? That was quite good. And the Doctor's response, oh, that's just no one's ever asked that before. So... I like the way they do this in the modern series. They make like cheeky nods to things that don't make sense in continuity, but they refuse to deal with it in any kind of like, oh, we're going to explain it. They just like, yeah, that's a problem. Oh, well, never mind, moving on. They did it in David Tennant's era with the unit dating, when he said, oh, I used to work with these guys in the 70s, or was it the 80s? And I like the fact that they did something similar here. That was quite a nice little cheeky nod. And then after the whole episode was over, we got a nice big trailer for one for next week and then one for just coming soon for the whole season, which included our first shot of John Sim as back as the Master. Including, hey, goatee beard. Classic Master styling with the beard. I like it. So overall, I thought this was a brilliant start to the season, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do more with Bill. I liked the characterization of all of the main characters, and I thought they were used really well. All three of them were really well done. I like the fact that it's a TARDIS team of 3 again. I missed that. I quite like that interaction of having a bit more people and not just a one-on-one relationship. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. I think this has left me with good feelings for this season. I think it's going to be good. Next episode will be a real tester, because it's the emoji robots, which could go one of two ways. It could be really good and really creepy, Or it could be really cheesy, but we'll see. Might do a review of that, might not. We'll see. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, share. I will put some links on the side here. I think I'm on this side of the screen. If not, just ignore where I'm pointing and go to wherever the boxes appear. Please do subscribe. And here's some more Doctor Who related videos, or 1 or 2 of those. And I'll be doing more Doctor Who videos, possibly more reviews of the new series. We will see. And I'll see you next time. Bye.